Well, hello, beautiful people. It's me, Sam, from your friendly neighborhood Dunder Film Paper Company. It's my review of Sufjan Stevens' Javelin. This is a major review, easily one of my most anticipated albums of 2023. He's easily one of my personal favorite artists of all time. His music inspires me, it lifts me up. In my opinion, I think he's one of the best songwriters of our generation. He surely inspires my music. Um, and so his last album, A Beginner's Mind, which if you haven't heard of it, I highly recommend it. The year it came out, which was a couple of years ago, it was my favorite album of that year, and it was also one of my personal favorite albums of the past decade. It's a concept album. Each track was inspired by a movie. Um, for instance, there's one track that was inspired by The Silence of the Lambs, and then there's another track that was inspired by the film Bring It On, the cheerleader movie of all movies. But that album is so fantastic. So check it out. It's called A Beginner's Mind. Now with this one, of course, because I love that album so much, I was really looking forward to this one. And this is pretty much Sufjan Stevens basically going back to basics. Um, he's been dealing a lot with electronic, experimental music, but here it's a lot more minimal, but also very beautiful and grand as well. Um, it's easily his most introspective out of anything he's ever done. I mean, a lot of people say his album Carrie and Lau, I believe that's the title of the album. It's late. Carrie and Lau was a very personal album to him because it talked about his growing up in his family, whereas this one, he's talking about a lot of his deepest and darkest thoughts and the love of losing a partner. So it's a very special album. I must admit, when I first listened to it, I thought it was good. I was a little kind of mixed. For the most part, out of the 10 tracks, I was really digging about six of them. The other four, I wasn't too crazy about. But the thing about Sufjan Stevens is you can't just listen to him once. He's an artist that when he releases music, it's something that you're gonna have to sit with. And the thing with this album, just like many of his other albums, is that the more I listened to it, the more I loved it. And I ended the songs that I wasn't too crazy about the first time around, I thought were fantastic. He even has like an 8.5 minute song towards the end, and I just thought it was fantastic, man. It's just great, great. Even the last 2.5 minutes, which is just instrumental, it's very beautiful. Um, yeah, this is such a great. I can't stop listening to it because every time I listen to it, I'm getting more and more out of it. Um, the final track on the album. Now, I I have this thing when it comes to artists like putting covers for songs. I don't really like it. I feel like there's so many covers of songs out there, um, that I just don't see the point of just adding another one. I'd rather see an original song. That being said, there's a cover of the song "There's a World" at the very end. Not only does Sufjan Stevens do the original song justice, I think he does it even better. I'm not a fan of the original "There's a World" song. I just don't like it. But God, man, Sufjan Stevens made me love this song. He does something with it that he uses the themes to fit the overall album. So I was a little worried going into it, like, man, how is he gonna put a cover of a song at the very end to end his album? And it fits the whole theme, the whole narrative, and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous, and it makes you think about everything that you just listened to. Um, So I think this is like when it comes to an album, it's the closest to perfect that an album can be. To be honest with you, it's 10 tracks. It's only 42 minutes long, which is the perfect length. It doesn't feel long. It doesn't feel short. In terms of runtime, it feels just right, and I love that about this album. Now there are a couple of minor things that, in terms of like creative choices that he makes, that I felt like it just didn't work for me personally. But once again, the thing about Sufjan Stevens is the more you listen to him, the more you learn to appreciate the little details. And these couple of little minor nitpicks that I have, most likely, I mean, within weeks, I'm probably going to end up not minding it or even coming to love those aspects of the album, because that's what Sufjan does. I mean, he makes albums that kind of make you look at your own self, make you look at your own life. And I I described this to a friend, like listening to this album is like needing a hug and just getting like a much needed hug, but in a way it's get like you're giving yourself like self love, you know. And I love that he talks about a lot of like a lot of themes, not only love and loss and grief, but spiritual battles and God and his relationship not only to other people but his relationship to God and Christianity. I love that it's not clear cut, like he's not feeding it to you. He gives you just enough to understand what's going on, but also to have an open mind and question, have conversations about his music with other people. And surprisingly, me and some friends, we do this thing called like album party, and it's a few of us, and we each every time it's someone's turn, we each pick an album and we listen to that album. It has to be within that year, and we talk about it, what we liked, what we didn't like, and we end up rating it at the end. And this weekend is actually my pick, and I picked Sufjan Stevens' Javelin. And I'm so glad I did, because not only did the singles off this album just blow my mind, but the other tracks that some people might even call fillers, trust me, the more you listen to them, you're going to get something out of it. It's going to speak to you in some way. So I love this album. It's easily one of the very best albums I've listened to this year, and hands down one of the most beautiful and most introspective albums I've listened to this year. In fact, in the past few years. And I have a feeling that the more I listen to this, the more I'm going to love it. It's just an overall great album. As of right now, I'm feeling a light or solid 9 out of 10. It's close. I have those minor nitpicks, but like I said, I have a feeling that I'm going to well, it's no like I'm gonna listen to this album a handful of times more, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you don't know Sufjan Stevens, you need to check him out. If you do know his music, let me know what you think about this album. Did it touch you like it did with me? I really needed this kind of album. Been going through a lot, and it's really gotten me thinking about my own life and what I want for my future. So yeah, feeling a light to solid 9 out of 10. Guys, let me know what you think, okay? Take care.